Just sit right back and you'll hear a tale of your faithful trip. It started in the firmament, and then we all got tricked. Life was great when we were young, with all the things we believed. Then it all got hard, unbearable, and we know we're being deceived. Forgotten, ignored, secret, and hidden. Topics that talk about how water is knowledge. Now drink from the fountain. Let's pour some on you now.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Plain Mundane Show. This is Alex. Today, we're going to talk about the most important battle of all time that you are fighting right now. It's called the battle that we call being alive in this day and age. In this new age that we're in, the age of Aquarius, that started after December 21st, 2012. At the end of the Mayan Baktun, you may have not thought that anything directly happened overnight, but just look at the world we're in. Everything is questioned. Science, religion, technology, even banking, economics, education, science, medicine. Everything is under question, and people have ideas and people have questions. But this is what it's about. If you're one of these people like me that chooses to investigate and chooses to make your hobby, so to speak, looking into all of these things, this is a great article to read. This is by Caitlin Johnstone from August 3rd, 2019, from the Mind Unleashed website, and it's made from the Spanish version. Our world is quite different from what we've been told. If you're reading this, it's most likely the result of a series of events in your life which have drawn your interest and attention to the fact that our world is quite a bit different from what we've been told by our school teachers, by the news media, by Hollywood, and by politicians. I might just add a comment right here. I'm out of school, so I don't listen to school teachers. I don't watch the news, so the news media is not affecting me anymore. I don't watch any movies. I haven't seen a Hollywood movie since like 2008, like literally over 10 years. I haven't stepped in a theater or watched a movie from beginning to end since. Proud of it. And by politicians. I really don't pay attention to that much what's going on. I know who's running and what some of the key issues are, but I don't listen to all of the debates and all of the details. At some point, for whatever reason, you've come to realize that the consensus narratives in our society about what's going on are false. The tools that people are taught to use to inform themselves about the government, their nation, and their world are not just full of inaccuracies, but deliberate distortions ranging from the reasons we're given for why wars are started, the way our political systems work, to where real power and authority actually lies, to the way nations and governments actually behave in the world. This awareness has come with a degree of alienation. Not buying into the same consensus narratives about the world as your friends, loved ones, and peers comes with an inability to relate to them on some levels, which can cause you to feel a lack of intimacy in those areas. Get used to it. You may have also found yourself the odd one out in conversations about politics or other controversial issues, maybe even lost old friends over it. But you kept going anyway. For some of us, it's more important to be true to the truth than it is to fit in. You're one of those people. So I just want to say to you sincerely, thank you from the bottom of my heart. I'm on my knees grateful to anyone who sets about untangling themselves and their species from the deceitful narratives which pervade our society. It is the most important battle that can be possibly fought. The most important battle that has ever been fought. There's nothing more important than this fight. Our species is on a sure trajectory toward Orwellian dystopia. If climate collapse or nuclear war don't send us the way of the dinosaur first, and the only thing that has the power to steer us out of that trajectory is the people using the strength of their numbers to force an end to the oppressive, ecocidal, omnicidal status quo. But they don't. The people don't use the strength of their numbers to force an end to the oppressive, ecocidal, omnicidal status quo because they aren't interested in doing so. Why aren't they interested in doing so? Because their minds are being manipulated on a mass scale by the same people who have granted immense power and wealth by the existence of that status quo. All of mankind's biggest dilemmas are ultimately due to the fact that propaganda is far more ubiquitous and far more advanced than most people realize. And it's not their fault, not really. Nobody teaches you in school that throughout your entire life, your plutocratic overlords will be working to control the thoughts in your head using a highly sophisticated arsenal of psychological operations funneled into your mind via their near total control of the media. No one warned you as a kid that if you ever really want to grow up, you'll first have to extricate the vast network of lies which have been deliberately sown into your consciousness since birth. But their tricks didn't work on you. You found your way out of that matrix of deception. It wasn't easy and it wasn't comfortable, but you did it. And now you're ready to fight. And you have. You've already been doing what you can to share information which counters the disinformation, doing your best to throw sand in the gears of the propaganda machine and show people the little gaps in the code of the matrix in the hope that some light sleeper might spot it and begin waking up from the dream. You don't need to tell me to tell you to do this because it's obvious to anyone who's seen through the illusion. You're doing it already, and you're going to keep doing it, and you're going to get better at it. You're going to get better at it because you're going to keep learning and gaining a better and better understanding of how the oppression machine operates so that you can describe it more lucidly to others. You're going to get better at it because you're going to keep practicing your craft. Attacking the propaganda matrix at its weakest and most vulnerable points at every opportunity. Practice makes perfect. And the more you keep at it, the more skillful you'll get at spotting gaps in its armor and firing the most damaging truth bombs straight into them. You're going to get better at it because you're going to keep doing your own inner work to expunge all lies from your system. From the most surface level propaganda narratives all the way down to your most fundamental assumptions about the nature of reality itself. You understand that only turkeys are done, and that it will always be possible to get a little bit clearer inside every day. The less your vision is impeded by falsehood, the better you'll be able to see on the battlefield. You're going to get better at fighting, and you're going to keep fighting no matter what. Not because it's an easy war, nor even because it's a winnable war, but because you have made the truth your highest value, and untruth is therefore intolerable to you. You will keep attacking the lie factory at every turn until it collapses into its own foundations beyond any possibility of repair. You will keep driving your sword through it until you see it come out the other side, and others will join you because they have awakened to what's going on too. And then there will be more of them, and more and more. There is no more important fight than this. The survival and well-being of our entire species depends on it. The oligarchs and their government agency allies cannot be defeated as long as their propaganda machine is killing off all desire to defeat them. You are already engaged in this fight, so my purpose here is only to thank you and encourage you and to urge you to redouble your efforts. Never doubt that your energy poured into this effort is well spent. Never let anyone shame you into silence or make you believe that your efforts are in vain. Never doubt that you're on the right path. Your edge is your agility and your access to inspiration. No amount of social engineering can move as fast or shine as bright as the truth. You have everything you need to win, and there are more signs than ever that the win is on the horizon. What once seemed impossible now seems inevitable. All right. So what do you think about that, folks? Are you in a fight? Are you in a battle? Are you here because you seek truth? Do you happen to see things that may be conflicting with what you've been taught since you've been little? Let's just take an example. Let's say you were taught history about Europe in America, how the country was founded, and maybe what happened in South America and what happened over in Arabia and over in Asia. But as you grow up and you start to study these things deeper, you learn that there are factions and there are actually people that fight and try to run their countries by spreading deceit and lies. I mean, look at the examples of Kampuchea and Cambodia. Look at the disasters that have happened. Look at book burnings. Look at, we have a lot of fiascos in our world that are not explained. Look at 9/11. Look at JFK assassination. Nobody knows really, the mainstream story, frankly, has some holes in it. And people are still trying to figure that one out. Look at, but stay away from all of the, biggest stories like that, and just look at your basic concepts, the religions that are pushed on society. It's popular to go, if you're Christian in the United States of America, to belong to a local church and go to that church every Sunday and listen to your preacher, your minister, and learn the Bible and learn how to quote from the Bible and learn how to thump the Bible and defend it. But where did the Bible come from? Who was Constantine? What year was it? It was year 320 to 324. The Council of Nicaea. The presbyters that were all gathered together to create the books of what was called the New Testament when it was launched, to put books of religion in the first 54 Bibles that were ever printed, that were put in the churches of Constantine in his new churches in Istanbul and throughout his empire. So basically the Bible was brought to you by the Roman emperor. Now if you look at mainstream news media, you know that a lot of times these news media sources, they get caught. Their sources aren't correct, or they provided the wrong news, and if they get caught, they apologize and they go right on doing what they're doing. But there are actually programs that are declassified in the government within departments that we fund and that are part of our government that we should be able to know about. Within limits, of course, there are going to be some secrecy if you're going to have a successful defense program. But within the intelligence operations, there are all kinds of things going on that are being discovered that are not so fancy pants. They're not so great. They're not the best things in the world that are happening to people. And not only that, you have operations which have names. I can just name a bunch of them. Look at Operation Mockingbird. That's where the media will teach the people what they need to believe as a society. Look at Operation Fishbowl. That's where they launched rockets, United States, into the sky to try to find out the nature of the ceiling above our world. Look at Operation Paperclip, where scientists and people were brought over from countries in Europe after World War II to begin to fund what began the United States right after World War II, and a lot of our Defense Department, a lot of our space program. And there are things that are just today, with the technology that we have now, with everything that's poured out to you, everything you can access on the internet. Even, let's say you want to learn about physics. Let me throw a example out there to you. Let's say you wanted to learn, what are the Newtonian laws of motion? What's the second law of thermodynamics? You don't have to say, gosh, I don't know anymore. You've got a phone in your hand. You probably have a computer in front of you. Look it up. And when you read it and absorb it and think, oh my gosh, there's a lot of that going on. People who can learn to think and read and study are finding out that what they were just taught passively through their school experience, a lot of it ain't true. And then you can find out that, it just goes on and on. I'm not going to bore you with more, but thank you for listening to this article today. Thank you for coming to Plain Mundane Show, and be sure and read Caitlin Johnstone in the Mind Unleashed website. Check out the Mind Unleashed website. But thank you for coming to my show. Hope you enjoyed it. Please hit like, subscribe, and ring that bell, and just wait until I post another video.